salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evildoers assail me to devour my flesh, my adversaries and foes, they shall stumble and fall. For an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war rise against me, yet I will be confident.
There's something about light and beginnings that just go together. In the beginning, God created the night and day, saying, "Let there be light." And in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was light that shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. This time of year, light is especially appealing. Nature provides less and less of it until the next solstice. Sudden sunsets catch us by surprise because there is still so much left to do in the daylight. We make up for the darkness with neon signs, street lamps, Christmas lights. Our attempts to light darkness cause us to take for granted the very powerful metaphor of the very powerful presence of light itself. In the beginning of this psalm, David declares that God is David's light, the source of dependency, stability, order, a God who drives out darkness by simply existing, a God who is both the light and also the source of light itself, a God whose light brings salvation, safety from what lurks in the darkness, and shelter from its shadows. David knew darkness. As a shepherd boy, he spent countless nights in the fields with his flock of sheep and only the glow of the moon to guide them. Within his own family, David found himself in the shadow of his 7 brothers. While delivering food to them on the battlefield one day, he found himself face to face with a giant foe named Goliath, who threatened to kill David and give his flesh to the birds and the wild animals. Exchanging his fear for his faith in God, David slung a single stone at the giant, and the enemy stumbled and fell to his death. David knew darkness. After he was anointed for kingship as a young boy, his predecessor Saul was so jealous of David that he did everything in his power to have David killed. When David is finally cornered, he offers Saul forgiveness rather than vengeance, and the two reconcile. In fact, despite all of the darkness that loomed over David, he continued to choose light. While evildoers assailed him, he did not fear. While an army camped around him, he was not afraid. While war rose against him, he was confident. Not because of who he is, but because of whose he is. He is able to pay no regard to that which threatens to consume him, but instead is all consumed with God. Advent comes during a time of year when darkness threatens to consume us too. The joy and simplicity of a Savior born into poverty is overshadowed by consumerism and fear. Though we may not be surrounded by literal armies of enemies like the psalmists, there seems to be no shortage of adversaries and foes in our own lives. A harsh critique that plagues your mind, a broken relationship, a debt that you cannot repay, a hopeless diagnosis, a plan that fell apart. The army that encamps against us, stress, anxiety, loss, grief, bitterness, this army that consumes us physically, mentally, and spiritually. These are the wars that rise up against us, the darkness that surrounds us, the fear that consumes us. But light has nothing to fear. 1 John reminds us in the Message translation that this, in essence, is the message we heard from Christ and are passing on to you. God is light, pure light. There's not a trace of darkness in God. If we claim that we experience a shared life with God and continue to stumble around in the dark, we're not living what we claim. But if we walk in the light, God Himself being the light, we also experience a shared life with one another. Advent may find us in the darkness, but it does not leave us there. Though we may walk through the valleys of death's shadows, thanks to the incarnation, the personhood of Jesus, we don't walk alone. This salvation, which we proclaim, gives light in the midst of winter's long shadows, and that's worth waiting for.